In this passage, Schopenhauer points out one key distinction between hatred and contempt. The former is often connected with a desire to make its object aware of our feeling, but the latter never is. If I hate someone, I may wish to let him know of my hatred. Part of the pleasure of this emotion, it seems, is my knowing that he knows how I feel about him. But contempt rises above all this. If I have contempt for someone, I care so little for him that I am truly indifferent to his knowledge or ignorance of my judgment. In contempt, I have what Schopenhauer calls a pure and unsullied conviction of the worthlessness of another. Thinking of Schopenhauer's influence on Nietzsche, we might look for connections between these observations on the psychology of contempt and Nietzsche's description of the overman's attitude toward those whom he knows to be far beneath him. The lofty, even noble contempt of the man who is supremely confident in his superiority may have its roots in Nietzsche's early study of Schopenhauer. This passage comes from Schopenhauer's book Studies in Pessimism, in a section titled Further Psychological Observations. Here's the quote.
Hatred comes from the heart, contempt from the head, and neither feeling is quite within our control. For we cannot alter our heart. Its bias is determined by motives, and our head deals with objective facts and applies to them rules which are immutable. Any given individual is the union of a particular heart with a particular head. Hatred and contempt are diametrically opposed and mutually exclusive. There are even not a few cases where hatred of a person is rooted in nothing but forced esteem for his qualities. And besides, if a man sets out to hate all the miserable creatures he meets, he will not have much energy left for anything else, whereas he can despise them, one and all, with the greatest ease. True, genuine contempt is just the reverse of true, genuine pride. It keeps quite quiet and gives no sign of its existence. For if a man shows that he despises you, he signifies at least this much regard for you, that he wants to let you know how little he appreciates you, and his wish is dictated by hatred, which cannot exist with real contempt. On the contrary, if it is genuine, it is simply the conviction that the object of it is a man of no value at all. Contempt is not incompatible with indulgent and kindly treatment, and for the sake of one's own peace and safety, this should not be omitted. It will prevent irritation, and there is no one who cannot do harm if he is roused to it. But if this pure, cold, sincere contempt ever shows itself, it will be met with the most truculent hatred, for the despised person is not in a position to fight contempt with its own weapons.